Okay. It's 9 o'clock, and you'll have to forgive me. We are without any assistance today because it is snowing in Chicago. Yes, a lot of snow. But I'm here. I'm here to teach you guys a little bit about the drinking water standards that are out there, and it should be kind of exciting. I know it's a boring subject, but I'm going to do the best I can to sort of bring some enthusiasm, bring some excitement, and most importantly, some understanding to why is the drinking water standards so important to you and to your family. As I've always said, when you take a look at your body, it is nothing but one big filter, right? You have an esophagus, you have a stomach, you have kidneys, you have a liver, you have a pancreas, you have a lower upper intestines. Everything is designed to pull things out of the body or that you consume and pull it into the body. So if you think about this water droplet, you're basically pulling that water droplet into your body, and it's becoming you. So it's you. You become water. You are water. 60 to 70% of everybody out there is this water. That's what you are. You consume food, you become that. You know, there's a line I heard from Sadhguru that says, you eat a banana in 4 hours, you're the banana. It's so true. You drink a glass of water, you're that water almost instantaneously. So what we want to talk about today is the drinking water standards that the government has put into effect. And by the way, here is a great, beautiful glass of water. I'll go ahead and take a quick sip just so that what we can do is have a clean breath, clean mouth so that I can talk to each and every one of you. Now, when we're looking at the drinking water standards, if you think about it, they were invented or it was developed in 1972. Now, if you think about 1972, this was the era of, free love. This was the era of, hey, responsibility. So thank goodness for 1972. It was a very beginning of our government putting together standards by which we need to test this water droplet. Now, back in 1972, they were pretty lax. So the standards did get an update back again in 1986. At that point, we had 90 different contaminants that the government was looking at. By the way, did you hear me? 1986. Now, 1986 is an important time. I mean, 1986 is when we have an amendment to the document that said that we need to be able to provide our residents of the United States cleaner, safer drinking water. Now, in that amendment, up until then, we added up to 90 different contaminants that the government was looking for. Now, unfortunately, in 1996, another amendment was added. In 1996, another amendment was added, which made it much more difficult for the government, for the EPA, to actually add more contaminants to that list. So they must perform significant scientific and economic analysis. And so when they did that in 1996, no more contaminants have been added to our list. That's almost a quarter of a century ago. Up until then, they were almost adding one or two a year of contaminants that they found was very harmful to the human body. Now, again, these are contaminants that can cause cancer. You have to remember that way back in 1900, when we had, in Chicago here, we had an epidemic. That's when the government said, hey, you know what? We really need to have something better. And they said, let's add chlorine to water. So most cities started to add, most water supplies that were 25 people or more started adding chlorine to the water in order to provide cleaner water. Now, that's because coliform got into Lake Michigan because we had huge rainfall and the sewage backed up into Lake Michigan, and then people drank that sewage. The same thing happened up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the 90s. Now, so the very basis back in the 1900s, early 1900s, was we added chlorine to water. But it wasn't until we were in 1996 that we had 90 contaminants. But I want you guys all to understand it ended there. And, I grew up thinking the government was looking out for us. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I was taught by my school that, hey, the government's looking out for us. You can trust the water. You can trust it. You can make sure that you drink it and you're good to go. And whatever comes out of the faucet we believed was good. And I got a quick story to tell you. Back when I first started in this business 15 years ago, I had a client call Angel Water, and he said, son, I need to get a drinking water system. And I said, oh, well, where do you live? He said, I live in Palatine. I go, well, Palatine, are you on city water? He said, yes, I am. At that point, we basically didn't sell people drinking water systems that lived on city water, because we all, in this industry, no matter if you're on the East Coast or the West Coast, we all believe that the government did a good job providing good, clean water. So my response to the gentleman on the phone was, oh, well, you're on city water. The EPA looks out for your water. Sir, I don't really think you need a drinking water system. And he got on the other end of the phone. He goes, son, I want you to come out to my house. I said, okay. I get out to his house. He says, show me your reverse osmosis drinking water systems. And I showed it to him. And he goes, okay, I'll take it. $700. And I go, great. He goes, do you want to know why I'm buying from you? I said, sure, I'd love to know why. He goes, son, you tried being so truthful with me on the phone. You told me I didn't need it. But he's like, I just have a real simple question for you. You're teaching all your customers that the city water that the government provides them is safe. Is that correct? And I said, well, yeah, it meets the EPA standards. He's like, can I ask you one question? I said, sure. He's like, what does the government do right? What does the government do right? And I stopped for a second and I didn't say anything. And he goes, do they do your taxes right? Do they spend the money that they take from you right? What do they do right? And I was like, oh my goodness, I just assumed, because it was so important to human health, that they're going to do that right. Well, time went on and more articles came out. I started researching it more. And this is part of what drove me to be so passionate to teach each and every one of you about the health and welfare of your family and how water plays such an intrinsic part to it. It is so critical. That man was correct. As time went on, how would I have known that, geez, there were contaminants in our water supply in the 80s and 90s, and our big industries, our big corporations were killing us. I mean, killing us, literally killing Americans. It's so interesting to me. We go to war over things around the world for some of the most crazy reasons, a lot of them financial, right? But here at home, our own major corporations, DuPont, 3M, U.S. Steel, these large manufacturers dump their excess waste into our water supply, and it kills people. And in most cases, they know it. In most cases, they know they've done this. Yet, all of us Americans have blinders on, and we just keep drinking this water, and we hope that we're going to be okay. So my goal is to sort of wake everybody up. Is to be able to realize that back in the 90s, perchlorate was found in the water supply in California and Massachusetts. This is a byproduct from producing fuel, not gasoline, like rocket fuel. And so it was found in the water supply. The EPA said, yeah, let's take a look at it. The California and Massachusetts said, we're going to put a limit on it. But the EPA did not. Do you know why they did not? They did not do that for one reason. They have to prove that there's an economic benefit to eliminating or stopping that product from being in the water. Since 1996, they haven't added any one of them. Not perchlorate, not even a very well-known one called chromium-6. You've all seen the movie Erin Brockovich story. That's what Julia Roberts won her Best Actress Award for. So hexavalent chromium-6 is a byproduct of steel mills. Chicagoland has a ton of it. Actually, if you watch Erin Brockovich, she goes all around the country trying to wake up the world and say, oh my God, this causes cancer, and it's in almost everyone's water supply. Yet the EPA has still not added that to its list of 90 contaminants. It hasn't. In addition to that, if you watch Dark Waters, an amazing movie, it just came out about a year and a half ago. Oh my God, what a great story. DuPont knew that they were killing their own people, their own employees. The People in the city in which they were producing their chemicals, they knew this, but they turned a blind eye to it. They turned a blind eye to it for what reason? For making money. So although I love the capitalistic society that we live in, that's what I absolutely do love it. I do think that it's worth understanding that it is unfortunately leveraged towards big industry. So if it's leverage or leaning towards supporting big industry, and they can go ahead and do these atrocious things and still make money, then maybe each and every one of us should be a little bit more vigilant about our water. Now, that's really where we want to get to, because we know that the 90 contaminants, we're hoping that the government's watching them. And then in many cases, they don't. I mean, just so you know, in my area alone, Lake Zurich, which is a town next door to us, they had violations with radium in their water year over year over year, and they got a pass. St. Charles, year over year over year, and they got a pass. We live on a radium belt here in the Chicagoland area. A asteroid hit our planet 1 million years ago, right where we stand, and it left radium 228, 226, and 222, and it left it underneath the earth. Down comes the glaciers, dirt and soil and rock all was left behind. So 200 feet to 300 feet under our feet right here in Chicagoland is radium 228 and 226, and cities have had violations with it year over year, and then they just got a pass until they were able to put in water softening systems that take that out. What happened to the people when they were drinking that water? Did they get cancer? Maybe. It's just too hard for a doctor. Remember, my background is in the medical world. There's no way for a doctor to be able to say, yes, that radium 228 and 226 got you sick. They can't. They don't know for sure. So what I urge each and every one of you to do is to consider what can you do for your family. We're passionate about making your home and your family more healthy. So Rich out of Scottsdale, Arizona, he had written us a quick note that said, what can I do to get some of these things out of the water? What can I do for perchlorate, for chromium-6, for PFASs? PFASs, by the way, everybody, it's prevalent in everyone's water supply. Everyone's. It's there. Maybe if you live in a private well, you might not get it, but almost everyone in the United States has PFASs in their water. That's what we're finding out. Yet we still don't have a regulation on it. So Rich, what you can do is you can take a look at reverse osmosis systems. They are going to be the best product that you can get. And the newer ones, by the way, not only take everything off the water droplet, then they add calcium and magnesium back to the water, making it good quality water again for you. A lot of people in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they said, RO water is dead water because you take everything off the water molecule and it's dead. Well, it's really not dead, but it is free of minerals that your body might need. So today's better RO systems, drinking water systems, will purify this water droplet, and then it will add calcium and magnesium back to it. So Rich, if you have trouble finding one down there in Scottsdale, Arizona, give us a call. If you have any questions, any one of you out there, please give us a call. We're passionate about making your home and your family more healthy. We're passionate about making sure that we can get out any of the 90 contaminants that are excess in your water, or any of these 3 major contaminants that are in your water. If you've got questions, email us. I'm Drew at angelwater.com. At any time, you can email me. I'll respond back to you. You can call us at 847-382-7800 or visit us on the web, angelwater.com. Again, I hope that today was education for you. I hope that what I've done is enlighten you a little bit about how complex the EPA regulations are, and how the EPA itself is absolutely, unquestionably hand-tied by the amendment that was put into place in 1996. They have not added any more contaminants since then, and it's way too complicated for them to do that. But yet we keep inventing new products, new chemicals, new things. So unfortunately, the EPA is hand-tied. That said, I wish you all a great day. And again, we're passionate about making your home and your family more healthy. So give us a call at any time. Again, it's 847-382-7800. Have a great day.